breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
Hey, warm up, hello! Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. We've got an excellent podcast for us. We're going to be joined in segment number 2 by one of our good friends, Colby Marchio. He does great work over at Your Betting News. Now, this is a little bit behind the curtain, but we did this interview before the Eugenio Suarez trade, the fact that he did get moved to the Seattle Mariners, so do want to make that known, but we're going to be chatting with him about what we've all seen in baseball recently. We're going to be chatting about some of the player props that he is looking at, and then we are going to be getting you guys a little bit of a smattering as to some of the teams that we're feeling both bullish and bearish on, and just the way that in general he's looking a little bit more at pitcher props as well. And then in the final segment, gonna get you guys picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Thursday as we touch them all. If you do have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of two ways we'll fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep it by and letters EM. Naming does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated. Then from there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. While I did not get in any Twitter/X questions today, everything is powered by Edge Boost. Edge Boost is making sure that bettors are able to have access to their funds whenever and wherever they want. Edge Boost makes sure that you get cashback rewards as you utilize their fine service. And when you go to edgeboost.bet, put in that promo code of Greg, GREG. That'll get you a dollar for dollar match on your first deposit up to $25. Now let's take a look back at everything that we saw in baseball on Wednesday. Try to find some trends and try to get to know these teams a little bit better.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
The Boston Red Sox absolutely lay waste to the Minnesota Twins, this by a count of 13-1, as for Boston, ever since the Rafael Devers trade, things have been going very, very well for them as their offense was on fire in this one. Terrific story. 17th home run of the season. Jarren Duran, he goes deep for home run number 11 of the campaign. Rami Gonzalez, 7th home run of the season. And Masataka Yoshida, who's been a little bit silent this year as he's been quite banged up. His first home run of the campaign for Brian Bale. Really good start. 1 run allowed over the course of 7 innings. Did give up a home run to Matt Wallner, 13th home run of the season, but that was it. And for Zebby Matthews, 5 runs allowed in 4 1/3 innings. From there, you had Cody Clemens, a position player. After polish off the 9th inning, he gave up 2 runs in his inning work, but Griffin Jacks, 3 runs allowed. He couldn't get a single out of the bullpen. Justin Topa, a pair of outs out of the bullpen. He gives up a run. You did have 2 runs given up in 2 innings by Noah Davis as well, and you did have a scoreless inning in this one from Cole Sands, yay, verily there, and for Chris Murphy, 2 scoreless innings for the Boston Red Sox. The Blue Jays managed to avoid the sweep against the Baltimore Orioles. 9-8, they're able to take them down as Jose Barrios gives up 5 runs, 2 of which were earned, as he was hurt by a pair of errors out there in the field by Ernie Clement, as going deep off of him for the Baltimore Orioles, you had a pair of bombs. Ryan O'Hearn, 13th home run of the season. Jordan Westburg is 12th, and for Dean Kramer, he lost 3 runs over the course of 5 innings. He did give up a home run of his own, as going deep for Toronto in this one, you had Miles Straw get his 2nd home run of the season, and Nathaniel Lukes, his 9th home run of the season. That comes off of Yennier Cano. Don't you know he's having a rough season? 5 runs allowed with a pair of outs out of the bullpen. Grant Wolfram, he gives the team an inning. He gives up a run. Kyle Stout, 1 1/3 innings. He was able to keep it scoreless, and Andrew Kittredge, he was able to turn a scoreless inning of his own for the Detroit Tigers. They're getting back on track. They take down the Arizona Diamondbacks by a count of 7-2 as Eugenio Suarez plays his final game as a Arizona Diamondback. Goes 1 for 4 in this one. Geraldo Perdomo, he was able to go deep. Home run number 11 of the campaign. That comes off of Tommy Kahnle, who's had a rough go of it. Gives up that home run in his inning work, but Brendan Enifee, 2 scoreless innings, and Chris Paddock, first start with the Detroit Tigers, looked pretty darn good. 1 run allowed over the course of 6 innings, and he had a pair of bombs for Detroit. Welcome back, Kerry Carpenter, 17th home run of the season. And then for Mr. Jason Rogers, his 3rd home run of the season. Rogers was in the neighborhood of Kyle Bacchus, who gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Andrew Saalfrank, he goes for 2 scoreless innings, and Ryan Nelson gives up 4 runs, only 1 of which was earned, as Geraldo Perdomo had a pair of errors out there in the field that really hurt them. For the Atlanta Braves, it's been a rough season for them, and now they are 17 games below 500. They fall by a count of 1-0 to the Kansas City Royals. Royals still one of your top 100 teams in all baseball. 63 unders, 44 overs, and 2 pushes thus far this season, as Joey Wentz was great. 6 2/3 innings scoreless, gave up only 1 hit. Pierce Johnson and out of the bullpen scoreless. Dylan Lee, Rossio Iglesias, both lend a scoreless inning, and this game went to the 10th inning. Desbel Hernandez allows an RBI single to Salvador Perez that ends the game, and for the Atlanta Braves, 1 of 11 with men in scoring position as it was a piecemeal game for the Royals. Anel Zerpa was the opener for a scoreless inning, Jonathan Bolin 2 scoreless innings, and then John Schreiber, Taylor Clark, Hunter Harvey, Steven Cruz, Lucas Ursic, Carlos Estevez, Sammy Long all turned scoreless innings. So a true of true bullpen games. There you had a true avoidance of a sweep by the Chicago Cubs. They're able to take down the Milwaukee Brewers this by a count of 10-3 as Shota Imanaga does give up 3 runs over the course of 5 innings, including a pair of homers as you had William Contreras get his 7th and 8th home runs of the season. And for Freddie Peralta, he was due for regression, in my opinion, and he experienced it. 5 runs allowed over the course of 4 innings, including a home run as it was given up to Michael Busch, his 21st home run of the season. Then Ian Happ gets home run number 15 of the season. That comes off of Easton McGee. McGee gives up 2 runs over the course of 2 innings. DL turned it up Hall. He gives up 3 runs in his inning work. Jared Koenig and Grant Anderson do combine for 2 scoreless innings. And for the Cubs bullpen, you had Brad Keller give you 2 scoreless innings. Caleb Thielbar, Daniel Palencia. They're both able to turn a scoreless inning. For the Chicago White Sox, they turn a 9-3 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Adrian Alzer scratched from this one, but it was the piecemeal game with Tyler Alexander giving up 2 runs in 3 1/3 innings, and Mike Facil piggybacks off of him. 4 scoreless innings. Brandon Iser, pair of outside the bullpen squirrels. Steven Wilson does allow a solo home run in the 9th inning as it was Mr. Brandon Marsh getting his 5th home run season. Max Laser, not a good performance here from the Philadelphia Phillies. An ERA booster here. 6 runs allowed in 1/3 of an inning as he was taken deep by Miguel Vargas, his 13th home run season. Kyle Teal, a little bit earlier on off of Taijuan Walker, 2nd home run season. Colson Montgomery has like 5 home runs overall for the season, and all 5 have come in the last 2 weeks off of Taijuan Walker. And then Edgar Quiero, 3rd home run season. That comes off of Seth Johnson. Johnson gives up a solo run in 2/3 of an inning of work. Tanner Banks was able to lend a scoreless inning along with Alan Ragnall. And then you had Taijuan Walker give up 2 runs over the course of 5 innings. And for the Chicago White Sox, they now are 40-69. So very, very nice there. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have been really one of your best under teams in all baseball as well. 43 over, 63 unders, and 3 pushes, and they find a way to get the job done against the San Francisco Giants. This by a count of 2-1. Giants now below 500, and they trade away Tyler Rogers, so that's interesting. Mike Burrows gives up a 1 run in 6 innings. Carmen Molodzinski 2 scoreless innings, and this went to a 10th inning. So Isaac Madsen scoreless 9th and 10th innings, and the Pirates win this game despite going 0-12 with men in scoring position as Logan Webb was great. 11 punch-outs, 1 run allowed in 5 2/3 innings. Spencer Bivens, Matt Gage combined for 3 outside the bullpen squirrels. Tristan Beck 4 outside the bullpen squirrels, and then Camilo Udavall, Ryan Walker. They're both able to turn a scoreless inning. For the San Diego Padres, they turn a 5-0 win over the New York Mets. As for the Metropolitans, Clay Holmes gives up 4 runs, 2 of which were earned in 3 1/3 innings, including a home run to Gavin Sheets, 15th home run season. Yu Darvish, 7 scoreless innings before Jason Adam and Robert Suarez both turn a scoreless inning. And for the Metropolitans, Reed Garrett, 4 outside the bullpen squirrels. Ryan Stanek, Brooks Raley, they both lend a scoreless inning. And Rico Garcia does give up a run in his inning of work, and Padres win this game despite leaving 12 men on base. You don't find that very often, and here's something that you find very often: the Rockies losing a game. They did so to the Cleveland Guardians by a count of 5-0. As for Colorado, Kyle Freeland gives up only 2 runs over the course of 3 innings. From there, you had Juan Mejia give you 3 scoreless innings. Jalen Hill, a run given up in his inning of work. Victor Vodnik, he gives up 2 runs over the course of his inning of work. But for the Cleveland Guardians, they were able to get a very dominant performance here from Kobe Allard and the bullpen. 3 1/3 innings scoreless from Allard as pretty much a pseudo opener. Jacob Junis, 2 scoreless innings. Nick Enright, Hunter Gaddis, Kate Smith all lend a scoreless inning, and Matt Festa, he was able to have a fiesta, a pair of outside the bullpen scoreless. For the Reds, they are your top under team in all of baseball. How about 62 unders, 41 overs, and 6 pushes? They take it to the LA Dodgers by a count of 5-2 as Shohei Ohtani did have to leave this game. It looked like it was a little bit of a lower body injury. Should be fine. It does give up 2 runs over the course of 3 innings. Anthony Banda is scoreless inning. Emmett Sheehan gives up 3 runs as a bulk guy in 3 2/3 innings, but Andy Paz dropped a foul ball as an error, and that really killed him. Blake Tryon from there and out of the bullpen scoreless. And for the Cincinnati Reds, Nick Martinez was solid. 2 runs allowed in 6 innings. He did give up a home run to Freddie Freeman, 11th home run season. From there, you did have Tony Santillan and Luis May, both lend a scoreless inning, and Samuel and Scott Barlow. They were both able to turn a scoreless inning of their own. Turning a lot of scoreless innings was the Miami Marlins as they get the job done for a 2-0 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. For the Cardinals, just absolutely absolutely nothing doing at the plate in this series, as Cal Quantrill, 5 scoreless innings, Tyler Phillips, Ronnie Enriquez, they combined for 2 scoreless innings, actually 3 scoreless innings, with Phillips going 2 1/3 innings scoreless, and Calvin Fauché, scoreless inning of his own. Jesus Sanchez was the form of offense that you needed for the Miami Marlins' 10th home run season, goes deep off of Miles Michaelis, wasn't bad in this one, gives up 2 runs over the course of 6 innings. From there, Riley O'Brien and Jojo Romero both turned 4 outs out of the bullpen scoreless. Kyle Leahy 1 out of the bullpen scoreless, and the Athletics be able to take it to the Seattle Mariners, this by a count of 5-4, as for Sacramento, they've been one of your top over teams in all of baseball, but not in this game, as for Seattle, you had Brian Wu say hip hip boo to giving up 4 home runs in his 6 1/3 innings, 5 runs in total, lots of solo shots in this game. Miguel Andujar, 4th and 5th home runs of the season, Brent Rooker, 23rd home run season, and home run number 1 for Darryl Hernandez. Hopefully I said that correctly. And for the Athletics, Jeffrey Springs would give a really good start. Solo home run allowed in his 6 innings of work. Justin Cerner gives up 2 runs in his inning, including a home run. And Jack Perkins gives up a solo home run in his 2 innings of work. So you had in this game a grand total of 7 home runs, and you still got an under. You don't find that very often, as Randy Arozarena, 21st home run season. You had Mr. Julio Rodriguez get a 19th home run season. And then Ore Polanco, 17th home run season, as for Gabe Spire, pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless, and Edward Bazardo was able to turn a scoreless inning. He had the total of 9 in the Yankees game. This one was a little bit brutal in the fact that you either got a push or a loss on it. The Rays, they fall to the Yankees 5-4 in 11 innings. This was a game that was 1-0 going into the bottom of the 8th inning, and then you have multiple extra innings to be able to get you the push and or the over on the total. As for the Rays, really good start out of Zach Littell, 5 scoreless innings. Garrett Clevenger, Mason Englert, they both turn a scoreless inning. Brian Baker then gives up a home run, 2 runs of total in his inning of work. Pete Fairbanks gives up a solo run in the 9th inning to force extras in his inning of work. Edwin Uceta, Kevin Kelly, they both give up unearned runs in extra innings, and Josh Lowe gets low. He goes deep off of Devin Williams, who he blows another save. 7th home run of the season for Lowe, as Williams gives up 2 runs in his inning of work. Will Warren, a really good start, 6 innings. He allows 1 run. Brent Hedrick, Yori De Los Santos combined for 2 scoreless innings. Luke Weaver gives up an unearned run in the 10th inning, and then Tim Hill in the 11th inning is able to close it down. Scoreless inning out of him. And then for the Walker Texas Rangers, they polish things off with a 6-3 win over the LA Angels. Rangers have been one of your top under teams in all baseball, but all of a sudden getting a little bit more overwhelming here in the month of July, as Nathan Eovaldi, 1 run allowed in 7 innings before Hobie Milner does give up 2 runs in his third of an inning, giving up a home run to Nolan Schunal, his 9th home run of the season. Scott Armstrong, pair of outs out the bullpen scoreless, and Robert Garcia, scoreless inning as Adolis Garcia, his 15th home run season, that comes off of Reed Detmers. Detmers gives up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning, as if you had the under in this game, that was a little bit brutal. 6 runs allowed in the 8th inning between both teams. Jose Soriano, pretty solid start, 2 runs, 1 of which was earned, given up in 7 innings. Sam Bachman gives up a run and does not record a single out, as he gave up 3 hits. And Carson Fulmer, 4 outs out of the bullpen. He was unable to hold on 1 or 2 of those inherited runners, but did his part, did not give up any earned runs. And if you're taking a look at the trends that we're seeing in Major League Baseball right now, it's been a lot of underdogs recently. Over the last 7 days, 46 and 45 is what they're hitting on the money line. And since the All-Star break, more money line underdogs have cashed in favorites. The under hitting at about 53% over the last 7 days. 44 unders to 39 overs, with quite a few pushes along the way. I think they've had like 10 pushes, so that's been interesting. And if you look at the overall season, the under is hitting at 52.4%, 818 unders, 743 overs. And money line favorites hitting at 56.9%. Very nice. 919 and 696 on the money line. So that's what we're seeing in baseball right now, and that's what we all got on Wednesday. Coming up next, how about if we do chat with one of our good friends, Colby Marchio, about this great game of baseball, some of the props that he's playing, and so much more right here on the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VC Family Podcast.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
We're back here, lovely Las Vegas, for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VC Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by this man, as we've got Colby Marchio aboard. He does a great job over at Your Betting News, taking a look at this great game of baseball that we all know and love. I know that he is hard at work, taking a look at deciphering everything, and now he's getting into the pitcher prop front as well, which we absolutely love to see. Colby is a wealth of information, a great man that you're able to follow on the old Twitter/X at his first and last name, Colby M. Betts, all together, and it's always great to be able to get you aboard, Colby. Thank you so much.
Thank you as always, Greg. And the people wondering, why is Greg hyping up this guy that can't win bets? Well, he's a very nice and kind guy, but I'll tell you guys one thing, having a rough season. So we're switching it up. I'm trying to find new angles, which is why he mentioned the pitcher props, because I rarely go to them, but I'm trying to find more angles that I possibly can. So today was fun. I just humbly bragged to Greg that Logan Webb had 11 Ks today, and I bet him up to 11. That was one of the most exhilarating bets I've had in a very long time, even though I enjoy my home run videos. But my first pitcher video, Greg, it was really fun. I don't think it was as good as it could have been because I was doing my show live and I did it on the side.
Well, I am seeing it right now, and you look very, very intense in the video. Like, very, very intense in the video. I will give you credit. There is never a shortage of emotion. There is never a shortage of just good, clean family fun whenever you do these videos, Colby. And how are you taking a look at these pitcher props now? Because you mentioned the Logan Webb ladder strikeouts that you had for Wednesday, and how are you going to be gauging these moving forward? And is it something that you're going to be doing a bit more of?
Yeah, I'm going to try. I had my first walks allowed the other 2 days ago. On Tuesday, I had Eric Fetty over 1.5 walks at plus 135 against the Royals. And I knew the Royals aren't a walking team. They both came against John Rave, who I'm going to have to get a jersey because he carried the whole load for me. I'm going to start looking for walks allowed. I'm going to look for everything. I'm tired of feeling lazy just going to total bases and home runs. It's not lazy. I'm going through a lot of numbers and whatnot, but I need to change it up because it hasn't been as successful in years past. And there's so many bets you could take on a day-to-day basis in baseball. And the market is mostly wrong. In my opinion, they're wrong in all the plays. For the most part, it's really hard for the books to have that turnover on a day-to-day basis. So I think there's more you can take advantage of. I've been honing in on trying to get back on first 5 team totals, which I loved betting last year. It got me out of my 50-unit rut, and I went up 10 units to end the season, which was a huge win for me because I battled back the whole summer. Humble brag again. I don't usually do this, but I'm just telling you how my stories go. But I'm using Adam Rosenberg's new website, Handigraphs. It has been a great tool that I started using this week. I've been still using Batters-Box. I let everyone know what tools I use, and I think they're really useful tools. I love data. So even though I'm losing, Greg, I get up, and looking at the numbers is my favorite thing. And if I still think that's fun, I'm still the happiest guy in the block, which is why I'm still able to make those videos. But if anyone out there wants to help out and be like, hey, why don't you tech this market? I will happily go and look for it. So Adam does those double plays. I want to look more into pitcher props, and I want to stay known as the first 5 team total guy as I did last year. But those are the 3 new ones that I've been really honing in on aside from my usual bases and home runs.
I absolutely love it. And how much are you taking a look at perhaps some more team props now? Because I have noticed that with regards to individual players, there does tend to be a little bit more volatility. And when it comes to the total bases, obviously you put a little bit of a roll of the dice there. And the home run props, I know that you like to sprinkle on as well. Obviously, it's been very hit or miss. And I know I've addressed this once before with you, and I'll address it once again. It does really feel like when it comes to those home run props, it does feel like it's been all or nothing for a lot of these players this year.
Yeah, it has been. I'll use the Batters-Box since it's free. His elite rated hitters, days they'll be all on fire or they're all cold and never an in-between. And it hasn't been like that, I feel like, since like May. So you're 100% right. It's very inconsistent with the home runs. But in terms of teams, I haven't taken a full game money line, full game total in 3 years because I like to hone in on the first 5 because I get a better feel for, I know who's going to be out there. So if I really like a team enough, I will take their first 5 money line or their first 5 run line. Or the one, Greg, I cannot for the life of me ever cash. And this is when I like both teams that are facing, and there's 2 bad pitchers on the bump. I have yet, except for one, I'm not going to say I've yet to win. I have won one, and I only recall one. I can't win a first 5 over. I can't. A team total, completely different. I can't win a first 5 total over with both teams involved. I can't win, so I hate when I really like it. But those are the only quote-unquote team plays that I'm looking at right now. But full games, I can't do it because I don't know who's coming out of the pen. I really don't know a lot about pen numbers and stats, so I don't look at it, and I know all the other stats for everybody else. So that's usually why I don't take full games props.
And I do think that that's good advice if you know a lot about bullpens, because I do quite a bit of research with regards to bullpens, and it's why I do take a lot of full games, and I'm aware of what guys are typically coming out of the bullpen, what guys are oftentimes your bulk guys. So that is something that has been very fruitful for me, but if you're not doing a lot of that, obviously you don't want to be forcing anything as well. And just how have things been evolving for you, and how have you been able to hone in just with regards to some of your strengths and weaknesses? Because I do think that that is something that is so important for every bettor to be doing.
I had to look myself in the mirror this week because I was kind of down in the dumps. It's been a really tough season. And to myself, I think I have a really strict process when it comes to we'll use hitter props as an example. I think I have a really strict process. I think when I check all my boxes off, I think this guy is going to explode. And it really sucks when I'm super confident in a guy and they just go out there and lay a goose egg. So I think maybe toning things up, reworking things is something I'm trying to work on before July ends. I know it's ending in basically 24 hours, but anything that I can change this week, I'm going to be happy moving forward. And hopefully I can get out of this rut because it is a long season and I'm technically not down until the season's over with. So I can still get myself out of this like I did last year. And I just have to, again, trust your process. I always root for that. If you really have worked on it and you've won before, I don't think it should be changed fully. Yeah, it's tough. Don't get me wrong. It sucks knowing that I'm giving out these plays and people are betting them. So that does always suck. But I'm doing what I can.
Yep, you certainly are doing what you can, and even when the bets do not hit, at the very least, we get some nice comedy out of it as well, so you do a great job of keeping us all entertained on that front. And Colby, are there a few guys in particular that you're going to be looking to bet? Because obviously you took a shot on Logan Webb on Wednesday. I know that some of your guys have been the likes of a Vinny Pasquantino, Kyle Schwarber. Are there a few guys that are either making the list or they are perhaps leaving the list with regards to some of the props that you're looking to bet?
Leaving the list. Rafi Devers is probably the guy that I'm going to have to try and leave off my list because I think I've only cashed one home run bet on him this season after like 12, it feels like. I put him on my ban list a month ago, and then I took him off and he cashed for me. But I think I don't like taking guys off my list because I think that's silly. What if he has the perfect matchup and I was like, nah, he's on my list? I think that's foolish. Cal Raleigh is someone I'm going to have to be really, really cautious with. I am on him tonight as we record on a Wednesday, and hopefully he homers when people are listening to this, and I'll look smart again. But you got to keep in mind, he's the only guy on the Mariners that truly can elevate the baseball, and he's the biggest threat on that team. Nobody else on that team comes close as a threat as he is. So being cautious on his bases prop, his H-double-R prop, really, if you like him, going forward, taking the home run might be the only option because he's not really a two-hit-a-game guy. And if he is, they're going to walk him. You got to be cautious of those walks. They're coming. He is going to slow down as well, and I think he is because he plays the catcher's position, and he's going to get walked. So I think the home runs are going to not be as hot as they were in the first half. So he's a guy I'm going to be cautious with. But as we're recording on a Wednesday, I do think he homers tonight. So hopefully I'll look smart because I do enjoy watching the big dumper hit nukes.
Yes, absolutely. I think that we all love ourselves a big dumper in our lives hitting nukes, so that's always something that we want to be partaking in. And with regards to trade deadline, as we are doing this podcast on Wednesday, we haven't seen a ton of quantum moves quite yet. We've seen a few small moves, but nothing too big. How do you take a look at this year's trade deadline, and are there certain teams that you're looking to upgrade/downgrade? Because I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of moves that are going to be made that are really going to be able to elevate a team.
I've mentioned a couple of times this week, I think this is going to be one of the more boring trade deadlines because I don't think there's going to be any massive talents, big name guys that are going to get moved. I mean, in a couple of years, we'll see Paul Skeens probably get moved unless he just signs somewhere. But I think the biggest name that's going to be traded this season is Devers. And that was a month and a half ago, or whatever it was. It's been a long time. I don't think anyone's going to come close to a Rafi Devers name or talent-wise. Sure, Josh Naylor got moved to Seattle. He's a decent name if you pay attention to the game of baseball. We just saw Brian Hayes get traded to the Cincinnati Reds.
He's had a terrible year.
He's batting under 240. He is a great glove. I will give the Reds that. He is a good glove. I think he's a good third baseman. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery, but I don't think there's anyone out there that we're going to see get moved and we're going to go, really? He got moved? Wow. I don't think we're going to see that. I think the most interesting team this deadline is going to be the Red Sox. I think they could either buy or sell, and you can't be mad at that because they're on the fence. They're literally on top of the fence, And they could go either way, and I don't think you could be mad at it as a Red Sox fan, except you exclude them getting rid of Rafi Devers last month. But they're in a weird spot. They're a decent team, but are they? So I'm really going to be interested to see what they do in the next 24 hours.
Yep, I'm right there with you. There's a lot of teams of intrigue. We saw the San Francisco Giants trade away Tyler Rogers, one of their main relievers as well. So we are starting to see the buyers and the sellers come out of the woodwork, and a man that has come out of the woodwork and delivered for us time and time again on this podcast, that'd be you, my friend Colby. You do such an excellent job taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. Love to get people at home know what's all on tap for you and how people can follow along on social media to other platforms.
Thank you as always, Greg, for letting me come on and be a little psychopath on here. But anyone out there who wants to follow me, it's ColbyMBETS, Colby M Bets on X. That is where I give out all my write-ups for free, all my bets for free. It will never be paid. You can read all my stuff at Betting News. Check us out at Betting News. Follow us at Your Betting News on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's always going to be Twitter to me. But as always, appreciate you letting me come on, Greg, and talk to you about our favorite game of baseball. And I wish you the best of luck the rest of the week on your bets.
Absolutely. Colby does such an incredible job taking a look at this amazing game of baseball, and every single time he joins me, he lends such good insight. So big thanks, Colby, for joining me on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Coming next, well, this is a buzzkill. We've only got 3 games on the betting board for Thursday, but I get you guys picks and analysis on all 3 games on the betting board for this Baseball Wednesday as we touch them all.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by Colby Marchio. He does great work over at Your Betting News, taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. Every single time he joins me, he lends such great insights, a wealth of knowledge, and a wealth of fun. So a big thanks to Colby for joining me in the last segment. Now it is that time of the podcast. I give you picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Thursday as we touch them all.
If a game is listed on the betting board, Greg has a side and a total on it, so it is time to touch them all.
Do note that as per usual, any changes that are made to these plays will be listed up on my Twitter/X feed at gunit_81. Very easy to go in Las Vegas rotation order here. We've got 3 games, so that'll keep things nice, clean, and easy. Let's get things started with 9-1, 9-2 on the card. The Tampa Bay Rays are going to be on the road against the New York Yankees as Marcus Stroman goes for the Yankees and Ryan Pepiot is on the bump for the Rays. 9 is the total, over and under, both at -110, and Yankees are between -110 to a -115. The Tampa Bay Rays are anywhere between a -105 to a -101, and with the New York Yankees, I did set them at a -122. I'm going to be willing to lay the money line. Now, with Ryan Pepiot, he does have a pretty solid ERA. It's at a 3.42, but fielding independence more around a 4.41. That's mainly because he's been giving up a lot of the deep ball. He has been allowing 1.5 home runs per 9 innings to go along with 3 walks per 9, so that does have to be of a little bit of concern here. He is backed up by a Tampa Bay Rays lineup that overall has been solid, but with Brandon Lau currently out of the lineup, that does have to give you a little bit of pause. He was supplying the team with 19 plus home runs for the Rays overall this season. They're hovering right around about 10th in the league in terms of runs per game. You do have 2 really good base stealers, Jose Calabreu along with Chandler Simpson. Both have been able to supply over 32 steals thus far this season. And then you've got Yandy Diaz, who's been hitting well above a 300 since the beginning of the month of June. Guy has been absolutely on fire, and the deep ball's been working for him as well. He's up to 15 plus home runs this season. The catcher spot has been rough. They trade away Janny Jansen, but that's not really a downgrade. You've had Taylor Walls not be able to give you a whole heck of a lot, but this is a relatively solid Rays bullpen. They've added a few pieces like Brian Baker. It hasn't necessarily been great for him, but you do have the likes of Garrett Clevenger, Pete Fairbanks, Manuel Rodriguez, who have been able to give you a sub-3.25 ERA. Edwin Uceta has been a little bit hit or miss as a long guy, and for the New York Yankees, obviously this has been a bullpen that has been shaky, to say the least, but they are getting Yuri De Los Santos off the injured list. That's been one of their better relievers. Luke Weaver has not looked like himself since coming off the injured list, so that has been a little bit of concern for the Yankees. Tim Hill has been solid, but when you got guys like a Mark Leiter Jr. out there, that's not necessarily where you want to be, and obviously without Mr. Aaron Judge, this has been a rough lineup to say the least, but Cody Bellinger going into yesterday, 9 home runs in his last 17 games. He's up to 20 bombs overall this campaign. He's been able to do a nice job. Now, you need more batting average out of the likes of Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe, even Ben Rice. These guys sitting at 235 or lower. They've been a little bit rough for the unit, but you've got Yasan Dominguez, who's been able to give you 335 on base, good wheels out of him. You've had Trent Grisham, overall for the season, give you about a 350 on base. It's been a little bit silent recently, but 17 home runs out of him. Jazz Chisholm has been relatively solid too, so I do think that this is a good spot for the New York Yankees, even though Marcus Stroman overall for the season has an ERA that is approaching 6. But if you look at what Marcus Stroman has been able to do since coming off the injured list, he's been a bit of a different pitcher. He's been giving up 3 runs or fewer in 4 out of his last 5 starts, so he's been able to improve that. Obviously not too much of a strikeout guy, 6.1 strikeouts, 4.2 walks per 9 innings. That's been a little bit less than amazing, and he did have 4 walks in his last start against Philadelphia Phillies, and has struggled when he's been at Yankee Stadium ever since he was acquired, so that is a little bit of pause there. But that said, with the New York Yankees, do think that even with Aaron Judge out of the fold, they generate enough offense off of Ryan Pepio to be able to get the job done. Set them at a minus 122. I like the money line, and with the improvement of Stroman, I did set my total at 8.9, so here at the 9, I'm going to be taking a shot on the under. 903, 904 on the betting board. It is the Atlanta Braves, and they're on the road. They're facing off against Cincinnati, and yes, they are on to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is on to Andrew Abbott getting the start for them, and Carlos Cookie Carrasco goes for the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves are a underdog of between plus 134 to a plus 140, minus 155 to a minus 165 is that number on Cincinnati. 9.5 is the total. The under is minus 120, and the over is even. And with the Atlanta Braves, I did set them on the money line at a plus 171. I just can't trust in Carlos Cookie Carrasco. This is going to be his first start since early May. Was posting up a 5 ERA, giving up 2 home runs and 2.8 walks per 9 innings when he was getting starts for the New York Yankees. Who knows what sort of form he's going to be in. He's been a little bit banged up. He's been down at the minor league level, so that is not great when you've got someone who hasn't been on a big league mound in over 2 months. And this is an Atlanta Braves bullpen that has been in the bottom half of the big leagues in terms of their ERA ever since June 1st, so they've been really struggling there. Actually got a good performance out of Joey Wentz yesterday, but this is an offense as 21st in the big leagues, actually 22nd now after yesterday in terms of runs per game. This is despite the fact that you've got some big boppers out there. I mean, Matt Olson, 18 home runs at 365 on base. Obviously, Ronald Acuna Jr. is on his part. He's getting a home run every about 13 at-bats. He's supplying over a 400 on base. The issue has been Michael Harris along with Ozzie Albies. Both of these guys below 10 home runs this year. Harris has been a little bit better, but how about a 256 on base for the season? Like, that's just not going to cut it. Nick Allen has given you no home runs. Whenever Alex Verdugo was out there, he wasn't supplying any power. Eli White hasn't been anything special, so you've got a lot of issues on that front. And then on the flip side, you've got yourself a bunch in the Cincinnati Reds that, yeah, they maybe don't have a whole bunch of boppers outside of Ellie De La Cruz, but I mean, Ellie De La Cruz is a really nice place to be able to start. 18 home runs, on base percentage that is in the neighborhood about a 360, 29 stolen bases, does a bit of everything. TJ Friedel, Kevin Lux, both above a 358 on base. And now for Friedel, he's Spencer Steer, Matt McClain, Austin Hayes, all up to about 10 to 11 home runs. And Hayes, since coming off the injury list, has been able to give the team a spark. He hits for about a 280 overall for the season. For the Reds, it's not an amazing bullpen, but you're not going to need it to be, because Andrew Abbott, he has given up 2 earned runs or fewer in 15 out of his 18 starts this year. Now his 209 ERA comes with a fielding dependent that's a bit above a 3. It's not too much of a strikeout guy with about 8.3 strikeouts per 9 innings, but it's limited the deep ball, giving up only 1 home run per 9 innings, only about 2.5 walks per 9, so he's done a nice job there. And then you're able to bring in some of those good bullpen pieces, as you've been able to have Brent Suter, Tony Santillan, Emilio Pagan, all give you a sub 315 ERA. I will say Pagan does give up a few too many home runs for my liking, but still, he's been able to do a relatively solid job this year. I do think that for the Cincinnati Reds, they take it to Carrasco, a Braves bullpen that has not necessarily been great to say the least, and they're probably going to need to utilize quite a bit of it. You've had Dylan Lee along with Pierce Johnson give you a sub 3 ERA, but Aniel De Los Santos has been miserable for the team. He's well above a 4 ERA now. Aaron Bummer has been a bummer. His ERA is up right around about a 4.60 as well, so do think that this is a good circumstance here for the Reds. I'm going to be willing to take a shot on the run line. I set mine at a plus 117. The lone place that you're finding initial run lines is over at FanDuel. Right now, seeing that at a plus 126, so sign me up on that run line, and I'm going to be in on this 9.5 under, set my total 9.2, and we're going to have things up with 905, 906 on the card. It is the Rangers on the road against the Seattle Mariners. This is the game of mystery, as right now you've got CBS Sports and ESPN projecting that it's going to be George Kirby going for the Seattle Mariners and Coomer Rocker going for the Walker Texas Rangers, but as of right now, there's nothing listed up on the betting board. This is a game that is totally off the board, but that said, I've got my handicap. I set the Mariners at a minus 158 on the money line. I would be able to take a run line at a plus 127 or higher, would need at least plus 159 to be able to fire in on the Rangers, and made a total of 7.3, so 7 or less, I like the over. A 7.5 or higher, I'm going to be in on the under for George Kirby. He has been looking like the George Kirby of old recently. Had a few rough outings to begin the season coming off the injured list. He didn't necessarily look quite right, and then he had that one start out there in Chicago where he was pitching in regular Wrigley Field. The wind was blowing out and it was about 1 billion degrees, so very forgivable circumstances there. But for George Kirby, 4.50 ERA, but a 3.72 fielding dependent. He is giving up 2.2 walks per 9 innings, which is actually up, and I don't think that that's the world's worst thing, because sometimes when you're only giving up like 1 walk per 9 innings, you're actually being a little bit too accurate. But for George Kirby, 2 runs or fewer allowed in 3 out of his last 5 starts, albeit he did have a little bit of a rough one 2 starts ago against the Milwaukee Brewers. But all in all, I've been liking what I've been seeing out of him, and I do like what I've seen out of the Texas Rangers recently as well. This has been a lineup that all of a sudden has been able to come alive. For the Walker Texas Rangers, this bunch was very dead going into the month of July, but here in the month of July, averaging about 5.8 to 5.9 runs per contest. That's been a top 3 mark in all of baseball, as it's been a bunch of guys who have just been underperforming all season long, stepping up, like Corey Seager. He's now been able to give you north of a 420 on base over the last 30 days. You've had the likes of Adolis Garcia, along with Marcus Semien, Wyatt Langford, provide 13 to 15 home runs. Many of them have come recently, for Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia, both of these guys overall for the season hitting just a hair above a 225. Jake Berger is in that fold as well, but these guys have stepped up along Kyle Higashioka in the month of July, entering into yesterday at 392 average, so you absolutely do love to see that, and you've been able to get some good bang for your buck as well out of some of these ancillary guys, like Josh Young. When he's been out there, he's been hitting at 385 overall for the month. I know that he's been a little bit banged up, and this Rangers bullpen is in the top 3 in terms of ERA since the beginning of the month of June, as you've got a bunch of guys like Robert Garcia, Chris Martin, Sharon Armstrong, Colby Milner, who've done a nice job holding down the fort. These guys have been able to give you an ERA that is below a 3, and for the Seattle Mariners, the top guys have been really good. Matt Brash, Andres Munoz, Gabe Spire, Edward Pizarro. These guys are below a 3 ERA as well, and for the overall season, the Seattle Mariners team hovering right in the neighborhood of about 7th in terms of their bullpen ERA, so I do think that that'll be enough support for George Kirby here, because I just don't really trust in Kumar Rocker. I recognize that he has been a little bit better here ever since that shaky start to the season, but Kumar Rocker not getting the swings and misses that you would expect him to. For a Rocker, he's only at 8 strikeouts per 9 innings, giving up 1.4 home runs per 9 innings, 5.73 ERA, now a 4.54 fielding dependent, but has allowed 9 runs over the course of his last 3 starts. He's been starting to regress since he was on a really hot run in June into very, very early July, and I do think that the Mariners get to him here, so at a minus 157 or better, looking at Seattle plus 159 or higher, the Rangers, and then set a total to where a 7 or less. I'm in on the over 7.5 or higher, the under, and that'll wrap things up for the Thursday edition of the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. A big thanks to one of our good friends, Colby Marchio, does such great work over at Your Betting News. He joined me in the last segment. If you do like hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of 2 ways to be able to fire those in. First one is my Twitter /X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, letters EM, they mean does not matter. So, as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated. And then from there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast by that 5-star review. Coming at you guys every single day throughout the baseball season. That means I'm back with you once again tomorrow. Thank you.